Senator Hickenlooper.
Great. Thank you each for taking the time out and talking about this important issue. I went right from being a small business person into being the mayor of Denver. And one of the first things, I think perhaps the first thing I did, was convened 3 different commissions. One was a commission, one was a task force, one was a committee. Each one was bipartisan. Each one had private sector, public sector people to look at quality early childhood education. And we did this for 30 months. Little did I suspect that it would be so drawn out and that there was so much activity and research in it. And in the end, we went to the ballot as a city with the sales tax. We got, if you remember the Coors family in those days, Pete Coors was still the CEO of Coors Brewing Company, one of the most conservative families politically in the country. And he was on that list. He was served on that one of those commissions. He came to every meeting, and he supported that tax increase. So I think we're past the point of recognizing that we even need to discuss. This was in 2004 when we did all this work, and that went to the ballot in 2005. So I think we need to look at what are the realities, and that's what you guys are doing a great job of talking about today. We've got 80% of our child care centers in Colorado are facing staffing shortages. Those are the ones inside the city of Denver, but they're all across the state. I think we have to have a workforce that can fully support expansion. So I thought I'd start with you, Ms. Alvin. How do we best recruit child care educators to work for within the system that is right now? And then how we might change that? And how do we work with high schools, right, and post-secondary schools to encourage early educator pathways? What does that look like? And then in the end, as you guys have all said and are aware, there's competition for workforce. And so how do we make sure that those early educators aren't lured away?
Thank you, Senator. And to be clear and agree with the great senator from the great state of Alaska, we believe firmly that quality can exist in every setting. But to do that, it means that the early childhood educator in that setting is well prepared. The 2015 National Academies report said that there is a discrete set of knowledge, skills, and competencies to capitalize on the science of early learning, the through line between language and math, between exploring environments and having social emotional impact. And so having a well-qualified workforce is imperative. That's at the credential level, that's at the associate degree level, the bachelor's, master's degree level, and PhD. And we are kind of doing a lot of hand-wringing right now about why we can't get workforce, why we're having these huge shortages. We shouldn't be hand-wringing. Our history is super clear. When you have somebody with a degree in early childhood education making $11 or $12 an hour, and they could go to Target and make $24 an hour, I don't think that story is complicated. And so I interviewed 30 system leaders in higher education in the spring, and we produced a report on higher education. Higher education's ready to invest. If they get the signal that we're going to invest as a country, they too want to invest in ensuring that our workforce is fully prepared. But I struggle to see, and you can see it in this pandemic, every other industry has responded. And look at nursing, right? Nursing, you don't reduce the barriers to entry, you don't make it easier, you don't pay people less, you don't give a bonus one time when we have a nursing crisis. You make sure you have highly qualified, skilled RNs and LPNs and nurse CNAs. You pay them what it costs, what the market bears, and we're not doing that in early childhood education. So the key to all of this is a funding system where employers can pay their early childhood educators professional salaries, health insurance, and retirement benefits. I can almost guarantee you we won't have a workforce crisis if we do that.
Yeah, no, here. And I'm just about out of time, so I was just going to work my way down. I will get written questions to everybody. Ms. Cashin, just quickly, what are some common sense bipartisan solutions we can work on to lessen the strain of childcare on working families? Because I think that's, again, this is so confounding because we're not paying anybody enough money, and yet we're still costing too much for the parents of children.
It's a great question. Thank you, Senator. So basically, invest federal dollars so that we have the ability to lower costs for families, make sure no family pays more than 7% of their income, and invest to build the supply of childcare in a way that raises the compensation of the early educators. I think that's very, very important. I just want to note one more quick thing is that, when we talk about bipartisan solutions, Senator from Alaska talked about the idea of a one-size-fits-all, but actually what this bill does, what this proposal does, is it creates state flexibility. That's something I think that really is a bipartisan approach where, stakeholders get to have a say in what things look like. And so they could actually communicate about the need to, get the fire extinguishers, and there's money in the bill to help pay for that too. So I actually think that this is a very flexible bill that has a lot of bipartisan answers in it.
Great. Thank you each. I'll yield back to the chair.
Thank you. Senator Burr.